Amanda Hopper, and I'm the Community Arts Manager at Goddard Riverside's Community Arts Program, and I am joined by my colleague, Nellie Gomez, Communications and Event Associate at Goddard Riverside, and we'll be running the show behind the scenes tonight. Before we get started with the fun part, just a few housekeeping items. We are on Zoom, so you have the ability to be seen and heard. But we ask that you all please turn off your audio unless the artist ask you otherwise. And you can do that in the gray banner at the bottom of your screen. Just click that microphone icon and that will turn your audio on and back on and off. And Nellie and I will be keeping an eye out throughout the evening. So we might sneak in there and mute you if we hear any interference or background noise from you. So if you hear your audio go off, that's us. So if you have any other technical issues or anything tonight, any questions, you can reach Nellie and I through the chat as well. And we also encourage you to be active in that chat for many other fun reasons, interacting with each other, giving virtual shout outs and applause to the artists. And we'll also be sharing information about how you can see more from Kevin, from Dana, and from the WHAM Festival as well. Goddard Riverside's Community Arts Program is lucky to have Afro Roots as part of our regular season, but this month, all Afro Roots shows are happening as part of the Women's History Artists Month, or WHAM Festival, celebrating female artists and perspectives. Proceeds from all WHAM events go toward the artists and supporting our Summer Performing Arts Conservatory program for children ages 8 to 14. You can learn more at goddard.org/WHAM and check out the theater, comedy, poetry, opera, dance, and many, many more events that will be happening all March long. And now, with no further ado, everyone, Upper West Side Live Tuesdays, Afro Roots with Kevin Nathaniel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you so much, Nellie. Thank you, everyone with Goddard Riverside, and thank you, all of you that came out tonight for Afro Roots Tuesdays. We're very excited to be collaborating with Goddard Riverside for the WHAM Festival this month. And it's so special to be able to bring some of the really incredible talent and beautiful artists here in New York City. Because of this whole Zoom experience, we've been able to reach out and work with artists all over the world. And that's one of the things that has been of great help lately. We miss being live and we look forward to being live again. And we'll try to figure out how to work with people from all over the world when we're live too. But regardless, on this planet Earth, there are great vocalists on this planet Earth. And one of the great vocalists on this planet Earth is Dana Gae. So it's a very special night for us to be able to invite her here. We had actually intended for her to be featured last year for the WHAM Festival, but that's when the lockdown happened. And when the lockdown happened, we were closed for a while at Goddard, and we were trying to figure out how to start everything's back up again. It seemed like the only path was Zoom. So Zoom has been the path, and it's been a great path. It's been a way to keep the arts going. So the arts are going. We found another door to walk through, and we walked through this door and are doing the best we can with it. And thank you so much for being with us through this process, supporting Goddard Riverside, supporting Afro Roots, and supporting the arts. We want the arts to be here. We want the arts to thrive and to grow through this period so that they'll be here in full effect. And if anything, just got, more prevalent than anything before. We want to create a better world, and arts has to be there in really prioritized space. It is an essential service. It is totally an essential service. So I want to thank all the people with Goddard Riverside, so I want to mention Susan Macaluso because Susan Macaluso brought Afro Roots Tuesdays to Goddard Riverside back in 2013. We started at the Yippie Cafe, and we lost the space there. We're out in the street looking for spaces, and I had a conversation with Susan Macaluso about other things, and she said, bring this whole music series here And since then, we've been there. So thank you to Susan Macaluso. She's retired. I also want, again, to thank Amanda Hopper, who is doing a lot, doing so much work to keep this thing flowing, keep everything organized. Thank you, Amanda Hopper. And I want to thank Nellie Gomez. And of course, again, you. So we've been running here for at least 8 years now. We're looking forward to brighter days. We're looking forward to so much more beautiful art and music to share. I want to say that it's been a major, important experience for me to have been able to work with Dana Gae in the past and to see her artistry. She seems to be able to convey any emotion that any quality out of her voice, and she seems to be able to do this effortlessly. As I said to her earlier today, I said, "You make it look easy." So it's really special to see this in an artist. When you see this in an artist, you know that there's been a long track record of performing and creating there, and to the point where this is flowing out of them. So it's so beautiful to see this. I have seen Dana work with several different ensembles and several different artists before. And every artist who has worked with Dana, I can tell you this, she is the vocalist. She's the singer. If anybody who's in this kind of field is looking at Dana and saying, yes. And for all the musicians that work with her, they know how she makes it so easy for them to sound good, because that's really what a musician wants to do, is they want to be able to make all the other musicians sound great too. And so all the musicians know that have that feeling. I know that from experience. So again, it's been really special to be able to bring an artist of this quality here for Afro Roots for the WAM Festival. I'm going to always open with a playful song, which I call the Mbira Call to Peace. And so I'm asking you in the audience to listen, and at one point I'll ask you to make ululations with me. But this is Mbira. So thank you for being with us tonight. When I'm really excited about an event, I ask everybody to join me to raise the energy with the ululation. And it goes like this. So feel free to join me. You can unmute if you want to. That's right, we're raising the energy here. All right, we're bringing our hearts together. We're bringing our energy together. We're bringing our sounds together to welcome Dana Gae. And so I want to ask you if you can please mute your microphone for the very beginning of this as we open the space for Dana Gae.
What is this gift of mine without thy love? What are these powers of man without thy grace? And what is any life on earth without thy spark? What is this life of mine without my faith? Why do you fall so hard? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's real close. You're in my living room. It's beautiful.
This is great. We love it this way.
Turned upon the potter's wheel, faces to the sun, heart and hands to the grind, we move on, one by one, and we do the best we can. We do the best we can. If it ain't coming to you and the fear starts to do you, hold your will and pledge to do the best you can. Trying to release the fire you hold inside, searching for release from the pain of your desire, so you do the best you can. You only do the best you can. If it ain't coming to you, and the fear starts to rule you, hold your will and pledge to do the best you can. It's not bad, do the best you can. Desire, so you do the best you can. You wanna do the best you can. If it ain't coming to you, and the fear starts to rule you, hold your will and pledge to do the best you can. It's not bad, do the best you can. Muchas gracias. Well, I want to take a minute and just say hello to a few people here. Pamela walks far. Nella, oh my goodness, from Sweden. Beautiful. Thank you for being here. And Cheryl, that's Cheryl there. Cheryl Paham from Inwood right here. And Kevin, thank you, thank you. This is really lovely. I really wanted to really focus this time on my maternal lineage, because that's really been speaking to me very strongly. And my mother kept the oral history for the family very, very well. And it was rich, really, really rich. And it helped me it helped me ground in the music. I was learning music from many different cultures other than my own. And having had some education through the conservatory, there's a lot of shedding one has to do from all of that confinement and refinement, because you have to kind of fit yourself into this really narrow path, which becomes a lie, because all things end up getting appropriated for empire, essentially. So everything kind of gets twisted, you know? And the one thing I really appreciate with my mother is that those stories, that history, always kept me from twisting too much, if you know what I'm saying. So, what she would speak of a lot was her grandmother, Lucy Steer. I don't know if any of you heard of Steertown, Jamaica. She's from a Maroon heritage, the Windward Maroons. And she spoke a lot to my mother of this, and my mother spoke to us about it. And I remember I would get very sad, because I would go back home, I would go back to Jamaica, and I would see that all the old ones were going or gone, and there were so few left. You know, you don't need to kidnap a person from Africa anymore into slavery. You could just say, hey, come to college in London. Go to college in America, you know, because that's what happened. The whole Caribbean pretty much emptied out. And I came from a pretty big clan that were in that region, from the harbor, or Warwick Hills, the butt of Warwick Hills down closer to the shore, and which are basically the foothills of the Blue Mountains, and into the Blue Mountains eastward. And that was the way that the Maroons, that's how all the movement went after the English conquest. When they routed the Spanish out, many people moved, and the warring, everyone moved eastward. Anyway, the history it's not such a linear thing, as you know. So I'll try to, I can only kind of give it to you in bits and pieces, pretty much as it was given to me. But what I do know is I had a moment when I was speaking of a place called Norman Gardens in Jamaica. Norman Gardens is also, you probably know Tough Gong Studio, which is where Bob Marley lived. And yeah, my auntie lives right next door. This little
little compound next door to that area. And I was talking about something in Norman Gardens, and my cousin was speaking to me, and I mentioned it. I said something about Manley. He said, no, Norman Gardens isn't named for Norman Manley, who was the Prime Minister of Jamaica at one time. He said it was named for Norman Coombs, your ancestor. And it dawned on me, of course, that that's right, they're not here because they were the ones that helped secure this for the secondary and tertiary relations. So that's who's left. So it really kind of helped me have a better understanding, because we kind of, I don't know, I feel maybe I should just speak for myself. I find educated minds deal with a great deal of cognitive dissonance, because we get kind of fixed in these ideas of who we are, where we come from. But it's a pretty mixed bag, you know? And we came from all of it. My grandma was Arawak and Scottish, and I knew more about my great-grandfather than I did about my great-grandmother, because she died young. Nobody told me how she died, but she died, and he brought her to live with his African wife and other children. But I tried to understand how all of that worked, how the people came together, and how they fostered and nurtured each other, and how these relationships moved on the land. And I've come to really realize that we're just really cleaning water, each and one of us. We're just here to clear the water, because our blood is the water. And if you've got all the blood of the world in you, you know, it says something about the time you're living in, or the time of your blood on the land. And it says becoming more conscious of it makes you more mindful of the need for understanding. And there is a Jamaican expression. You say, no bother boast. You don't boast. Don't be bossy. Yeah? Just understand. So when I'm talking about my story, it's not because I'm trying to advertise or beat my chest. I'm grateful, and I'm honored. But it doesn't absolve me of the need to understand and to increase my understanding. And in the time we are in right now, it feels like, one cycle's, this age is ending. So if we don't get the understanding for the age, the same one of Jesus or the Buddha or Dekanawida, is the same understanding of faith, of compassion, of a highest guidance. And the beautiful realization for me in this time is really the founding father on this land for the land governance was Dekanawida, who brought a new understanding to the people here. Or maybe it wasn't new, maybe it was just a reinvigorated understanding. And so we get it or we don't. at the tipping point, and that determines the next round. So it's simple, really. You know, it's not so much about what we believe, but what we're able to understand about why we're here. So singing, using the breath, is such a super important thing. And it makes me feel it makes me feel that we can access what we need if we really get that understanding of spirit, and not to become crazy about it or loopy or see it as something that it's really not, but a really essential thing on a level of essence that we're not used to thinking. I see Peter's here from the dog run. Mornings here in Inwood are very beautiful, Upper Manhattan here, because it's where the land was made. And it's very, very lovely spot. And so I share a little 4-minute yoga in the mornings with my dog friends and a little breathing, a little bit of Song of One, I call it. And I think I'd like to just share that with you for a minute, if you don't mind. Yeah? I do something, we call it balloon, I call it the balloon breath. Yeah? And we make ourselves like a balloon. We fill up from our feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, everything, and the back expands. You feel all of it, and you just keep riding the wave. And inhale again. And when I teach people to sing, I always say we begin with a smile. And the smile is like, it's a wondrous feeling. It comes from a feeling of wonder and openness. If I were teaching you a lesson, I'd say, here, it's a big bouquet of flowers for you. And you go, for me? And when you take that breath in, you go, you feel that cold spot in the back. Yeah. And that's how every breath should begin. And that, I call it where you touch infinity. Every breath, you touch infinity. And you're not really inhaling, right? Because you're not doing anything. That breath is getting put into you. You didn't do anything for it, but open for it. But if those flowers come to you, and you say, flowers, for me? your body does a whole different thing. So I'm going to give you some flowers. And I just want you to accept them. Okay? Just receive them. Okay. Flowers for you. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you. I wanted to give you a little piece of my mornings here, because that's been a real balm on things these days. We all need a little balm these days. So, on that note, I will take you to let's see. Someone to talk with. Bring me someone to love. Bring me someone to love. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Oh, it's lovely to see people here like this. That is, we have someone from Japan here. Are you in Japan, Nihoniru? Oh, beautiful. Oh, isn't that wonderful? So, yeah. Kevin, I don't know. You said you wanted to ask some questions.
Yeah. This is so beautiful, Dana. You have taken us all on a beautiful sound journey, even up to this point. And I'm hearing so much in your music, and it's very unique. You have your own sound, you have your own style, and there are bits and pieces of influences I'm hearing, but I'm wondering if there's any particular influence you think has been really major for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, major. I think major, I would say my first love was Billie Holiday. That was my first love, I think, in terms of a voice. Well, other than my mother's and my father's. And they really had beautiful voices. My father still does have a beautiful voice. I would say I used to like wear out the clothes and play on Billie, on Nancy Wilson, and I was crazy for Joni Mitchell. She was pretty amazing to me as a poet, you know, and just her whole the colors, her Mingus album, just like that changed everything for me, you know. I think also I listened to a lot of I listened to a lot of horn players as well. Really influenced by the people around me, musicians around me, real seminal musicians from my childhood, and just growing up. You know, there were just really incredible musical people. I was really, really blessed with some really beautiful friendships in music and understanding and common feeling, you know, because you really can't make music with people if you don't really have the same feeling, you know, or at least I can't. It's very difficult to it makes it very difficult to do, you know. But you know, to tell you the truth, I'm inspired by everybody. I mean, you know, one of the most beautiful people I remember, beautiful singers I heard was at my Uncle Donald's funeral, at his wake, and everybody was getting up to sing because he was such a beloved man. His name was Don, and he was a black Don, beautiful black man. But he was also in he was in real estate class with the orange Don. Really, seriously. Who never got his real estate license. And but my uncle was an amazing, amazing person. And I remember being at the wake, and a workman who used to work for him, doing repairs, came in with his painting clothes and boots, and he wanted to sing for Uncle Don, and he got up there and sang a hymn. And I couldn't even talk for about a half hour. It was like hearing the most enchanted bird. And sometimes, particularly, I don't know, I find the people from, well, at least my growing up, I found that people in the Jamaican culture, they sing. People can sing. And
I want to add to that, because I've been in Jamaica a couple times, and I've been places where I've seen people who are literally look like they are just sitting down, chilling out, drinking beer. I've seen them, and I mean, really, really so casual, maybe just laying up, sleeping against a tree. I've seen them get up and rip up a song, just rip up a song they were singing so well. I've seen that in Jamaica too many times for, so I know what you mean when you say that's just part of being in Jamaica.
But then you hear when you hear the South African people, then you're like, woo! Because that music's just like coming. And that's the cool thing, because see, this is what I sometimes get in trouble with on the pedagogical end, because when we want to teach a certain style of music, yeah, sometimes it can get to be very it becomes an institution in the teaching, and you're not doing anything that doesn't do anything. So you end up saying, well, jazz is field holler and this and that and that, and it's like, no, it's not. It's like, if you don't know what working in the field is, how are you going to do a field holler? If you don't know, you follow what I'm saying? So it's like, it's so much for me. I mean, I understand why it's done, right? But the music, to me, I came into that music as a mystery. There was nobody around me who could teach it, right? Or, I'm sure they could teach it, but that were going to teach me in that time when I was a kid, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I had to kind of find my way into it like a mystery. And I understood that it was really the way man communicated. It comes from the way man communicated with Creator from the beginning. Because we got sound. We got that gift of sound, so we had to use it to make what was necessary, right? That's how I feel about it. Same thing like when in the study of bel canto, which means beautiful singing, they told you it's Italian. But it's not Italian, because if you look how the Tibetans do the Tibetan opera, and they're up in the mountains and they have to put their voices up into the head, and sometimes they're on stilts, and they did these big productions right? Dancers, and it's like a wild thing, and they're telling these stories of creation. That's what it comes from. This whole study of shadows and light and sound. It comes from an understanding that's brought from a higher awareness to us, so that we understand how to rocket a spirit on a material plane. That's how I feel on that. But not to get sanctimonious about it, but anyway. Speaking of which, sanctimony seems to be pretty in these days, isn't it?
Wait, I want to say, you mentioned your parents. Were they both singers?
No. My mother was a nurse, and dad was an architect. Mm-hmm. But they sang really beautifully. Well, they were always singing hymns. I don't know if you know, Jamaica has like more churches per square mile than almost anywhere in the world, they say.
Yeah.
So, people are always singing this hymn singing and that kind of thing, And also, you keep a tone. You got to keep you got to keep you got to keep moving. You got to keep the water moving and flowing. If I don't sing, I'm really ratchet inside,
Singing more as a way also of keeping the energy flow, because it really is moving energy through your body. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I guess when I say keeping the waters flowing, that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Montauk Chia calls it.
Yeah.
The water's flowing.
Anyway, I'll sing some more for you, or play some more for you. I had something here, but let me see, because I changed my plan, guys. Well, on the let me see.
mind these lonely ways. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Be strong, walk on your way. Now you see those dreams lying in the road. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Bend low, pick 'em up, but claim your right true load. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. As the monster hoards his fill, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Be the mountain standing still. Now the storm's gonna rage on all you know. Never mind, never mind, never mind. And it's gonna blow, it's gonna blow. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Never mind these lonely ways. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Be strong, walk on your way. Don't be confused, all that they say. Don't be confused, put all that away. Pull yourself together, stand on your feet, one step after the other. Right now, that's all you need. You should know that you've got a heart of gold. Whatever story gets told, don't be confused with all that they say. Don't be confused, just keep on your way. You've got your sweet life, you have your own life. Take it higher, one step at a time. And you should know that you've got a heart of gold. Whatever story gets told, don't be confused, don't be dismayed. Don't be confused, and don't be afraid of the truth and what it's got to say. Be of one true life, be of one mind. Take it higher, you'll be fine.
Thank you. I'm wondering if are we supposed to take a 5-minute?
Exactly. I was going to offer you that. Before we take that break, that all these songs that you have played tonight, they're all your own compositions.
Except "Fix Me" is a traditional.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful, and I've heard you do these songs with ensembles before, but I'm going to tell you something. When you do them solo, it's incredible. It's really, because when you do them solo, I'm hearing all the melody that you're producing between your voice and the instrument, and it's so amazing just to be able to focus on that. You know, it's really beautiful to hear.
Oh, well, thank you. But you know, it's funny because I can't hear it. I can hear it better when other people are playing those parts.
Right.
So it's funny that.
Yeah, in other words, when you're doing a solo, it gives a chance for the listener to really hear what's happening with this piano line and your all these melodic moves and arpeggios and everything you're doing. You know, it's a whole world in itself. It is. It's a world in itself. You know, so that's why it's amazing to hear you do this solo. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Well, thank you.
And straight from my living room.
Right. So what we want to do is, we want to take a little break. This will be a short intermission. And in this intermission, I want to invite the audience, everyone here that is, in the room, in the Zoom room, to go into the chat and get all the information, because there's links and there's ways to find Dana. And go into the chat and check it out. And Dana, if you want to take a little break and come right back, feel free to. Or if you want to stay with us, feel free to. But go into the chat and really take a look at it and see if there's anything that you wanted to check out or anything you wanted to ask. Or if you wanted to ask a question, we can ask the questions whenever Dana's ready. Because I always like to have that interaction part as this too, so that people get to actually ask a question if they want to, or make a comment, whatever, you know. But I do think it's important to go into that chat for a few minutes now, and also keep in mind that we also would love to be able to give more donations for the event to the artists. All of the ticket sales go to the artists, but through this series, we also would love to be able to give more donations to the artists. So if you feel free to add donations. Donations can be added to the Eventbrite page, or sure, you can find a way. Amanda can tell us how you can actually add another donation if you want. We can do that in the chat also. So please feel free to take the time to go into the chat now, and you'll see a lot of links in there, and you'll see some comments that people have made. I'm in the chat right now, and I want to highlight that there are several YouTube clips of Dana's YouTube channels, and there's a link also to the Goddard Festival, and there's a new message showing up in the chat. And that's a Zoom page. You can donate through the Eventbrite right here on that Zoom page. So if anybody wants to add a donation in there. So I said everything goes to, that's the wrong link. I'm narrating as we go. There'll be another link. Here's the correct link. It's in the chat right now. The correct link, should one want to donate into the chat or into the Eventbrite. And as I said, all donations go directly to the artist. That's the beautiful thing about this series, is we are all been working this series largely as a volunteer effort, and to bring this beautiful music to the people here all over. It used to be say we were bringing this beautiful music to the people of New York City, but now we're bringing the beautiful music to people everywhere because people can join the Zoom experience from anywhere they are. So yeah, if you get a chance to look at the chat, look at the chat. If you have a comment you want to make the comment in the chat. If you want to leave an email address so that we can make sure you're on the mailing list, do so in the chat. Or if you want to grab a website or anything off the chat, feel free to do that. We found this to be important because the shows oftentimes are very engaging, a lot of conversation, a lot of music, and people miss the chat entirely. So we're taking a minute to actually use that chat.
I'd like to take a minute to say hello
Yes.
to my a student of mine, her daughter, Saudi. Hello. Where is
Hello.
your daughter? Who just came in there?
My daughter.
Where is she?
いるよ。ちょっと待ってね。Wait a minute. ミカ、ちょっと来て。
I haven't seen her in years, and there she is. And I haven't seen her child, so.
So, two kids, and 7-year-old boy and 5 years. 名前は
Oh, so beautiful, kawaii. よろしくね。
よろしくねって。こんにちはって。名前を言ってください。Her name is Mika.
Mika san.
Yes.
Hello, Mika.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Two. Beautiful to see you.
Thank you.
Wow. These Zooms are kind of like, they feel like family reunions more like than.
They are. If there's anyone else who wants to ask a question to Dana at this time period, feel free.
All I want to do is get a drink of water. Can I just do that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'll just run quickly.
All right, that's great. Yeah, and while she's getting a drink of water, feel free to go back into that chat and see if there's anything else that you missed in the chat. And if anybody has a question, feel free to pop the question in the chat, or you can ask the question when she comes back. We do like to have that live experience. And this is as close as we can get to the live experience to actually have some sort of interaction back and forth with the people that are here. So yeah, this is that's it. I think that's it with the chat. And if there's no further questions, no one who has a question or anything they want to ask, or then we will continue on with the second half. Dana, how's it going with you? Are you good with the water and all that?
I'm great.
Okay.
Oh, and Iris, I didn't get to say hello to Iris. She left.
Oh.
And Nella, thank you. Look at this. Wow.
Great. Well,
no questions? No?
If there's no questions, that's all good, because I imagine the music is answering all the questions for everybody. And now I want to thank you all for staying with us, being here for the second half of the Wham Festival featuring Dana Gae. Please give a warm handshake for Dana Gae.
Bombo, 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 there's a song called Retunda. Retunda. Anyone here know Retunda?
I heard it.
Can you say it? Retunda?
Retunda.
Oh, that's right. Everybody can't say it at one time on this Zoom, right?
But if everybody unmutes, they can say it. We'll try.
Oh, can you unmute?
Yes.
Retunda.
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 Yeah. And is positive. This is, yeah. This is in Awi cosmic language. And so Retunda, okay. Is matter. He is light. So ret is toward. U is human. N is numerous. Human. D is through. Is space. It's great light comes to humanity through space, making matter positive. This is the time-space dimension or era for positive mind and spirit, celestial life. When this song came to me, I thought it was just syllables, like the last song that I just did. It's just a little ditty, Bombo e, which might end up being something as well. When I looked into it, I was told about Retunda, about Awi, through my friends Nella and Gary in the Arctic Circle. And they said, why don't you check that language out? When I checked it out, I found out that Retunda actually had a real message for humanity. So it blew me away. And what blew me away more was just the feeling when I would play it, and the feeling that would come about when I would play it. It just gave bubbles, you know? And in Awi, it's very interesting, because when you start looking into Awi, you start to see it makes it very difficult to talk down to someone, to speak as if you're lesser or above. Like if you want to say friend, it's together, positive, O is life, O is human. Together, positive life, human. And that's a much more accurate description of what a friend is. You know? I mean, a lot of time we say friend and they're not really a friend. Yeah? But we lie all the time in our languages. Our languages are very far from essence. So it brings us back into just it's really interesting. So this was developed by a man called John Wildgard. But he said he got sick and a plant came to life and told him about this language. This language was for the atomic age, because now man needed to have a whole new language to be able to move through this time and into something new. And, you know, I mean, just having the song was proof enough for me. But I decided, you know, let me see if I can find the book. So I found the book online. And when the book came to me, it was very funny because it came from some occult bookstore in the West, of the U.S. And it came wrapped up in purple tissue paper, perfumed tissue paper. And when I opened the book, it was signed by Mr. Wildguard as well. So it felt like a real gift, you know? But you know what the funny thing is? My father, who remembers all the birthdays and remembers all the first sounds that everybody made, all of his children, guess what my first sound was? Owie, 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 owie. Isn't that funny? So, I would love to sing this song with you. It may be difficult to sing it with you because of Zoom, because of the platform. But I would encourage you, if you like the song, to go to the Song of One channel, and you'll see it's called Intro to Owie. And you can sing it on there. And get more of the harmonies and that kind of thing. But I will just do it here solo for you. And if you can, give it a try. Yeah?
Maybe, do you want to go into gallery view for it, or do you want to stay with speaker view? What do you think?
I don't even know.
Okay. It's everybody can choose on their own too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you can repeat after me, you can unmute yourselves. And we say, a retunda.
A retunda.
Aretunda.
Retunda corusasa.
Retunda corsasa.
Retunda consasa.
More time. Retunda corusasa.
Retunda corsasa.
Retunda corusasa.
Is your father playing a band or does he do sessions? How's the teacher? Oh wow, that's terrific. Yeah, that's terrific.
Retunda coro sasa. Retunda coro sasa. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Beautiful song, Dana.
すごい。
To see little Mika.
Yeah. Okay.
And Wuxfar, where's Wuxfar? And remembering Strongheart, who's Vasco and Strongheart are about this. How old is Strongheart now?
Is 21.
Whoa, beautiful. And Vasco's 26.
Wow.
So, and thinking of all these children and what they have to do. This song is for the children. It's called October Victory because my son was my October Victory. He was born in October.
Hi.
Dana, move the screen down a little bit so we can see.
Yes.
Thanks. Great.
And
Thanks.
this was during the time of when we were going to war in Afghanistan on no reason at all. And this was the first I saw the first of massive protests beginning, anti-war protests beginning. And it was such a relief to come to Central Park and see all these people and to be there and like, whoa, just because you hadn't seen that in so long. We had been kind of tamped down. So there was a movement called Not in Our Name. And many of us just pledged to do our best to not let this country murder and pillage and just wreck the world in our name. And that's what this song is about. So, October Victory. We have Buddha, 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 we have Buddha. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Dana, when I hear you play and I hear you sing, I makes me question how do you manage to be able to play piano so well and sing so well at the same time? Because you're putting in looks like a lifetime's worth of work on two instruments. Um, what took you in those paths to be able to do these things to that degree? What sort of work, what sort of training, what sort of play were you doing?
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, I'm kind of made this way. I mean, you know, no, really, like the songs are, it's like my teachers. They always came like teaching, you know, more than anything, or like medicine, like a balm, you know. So I've always understood that much, and I never really, to tell you the truth, I never really thought I really wanted to be a singer or really. But I saw myself, you know what I saw myself? I saw myself with great hair at a piano talking story. That I saw that image from very, very early. But I never, like, I didn't say I want to be a singer. But I knew that I had this voice. I used to say it's like an organ because it was kind of unwieldy, but it was kind of really high stuff and really low, you know. So I didn't quite know what to do with it. And so I took lessons. But, yeah, I think, of course I trained, but I don't think of myself as a pianist. I'm not a pianist. I don't do what a real pianist does. I'm not a flute player. I don't do what a real flute player does. They play me. They just play, you know, that's kind of how it works for me. And I guess the only way that I can do it is that I don't really think that I do it so well. I just do it, you know? Because I feel like I could maybe sing better if I'm just singing, you know? But I kind of have to just give that up and just whatever I have to say, I think is.
I get the feeling that
the
you experience the same thing that some of us would experience, would be that a song, the message of a song, the desire to deliver that message will teach you how to play the instrument and whatever it is that you need to be able to do it. Because, you know, you're hearing the song and you're like, I got to be able to deliver this.
Yeah. Yeah. And boy, I mean, it is a process, you know, and just the coordination that just takes doing of it. And I remember when I realized that, oh, I have to practice my own songs, because I was always busy practicing other people's songs, you know, and I would do my songs and I would say, I did that better the other day. But I'm realizing, no, because you got to still practice your songs. Just because they come from you got to practice them too. And some songs you really do have to practice, because like Do the Best You Can. Oh my God. I've messed that up so many times in performance, you know. But, you know, you just keep going and you figure out what you can leave out. You know, I remember learning that from an accompanist at Juilliard. Just that, you know, it's all about what you need to leave out. You know?
Right. Get the message you really intend to get across.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I'm just talking from experience, because, like, you know, I there's songs that, you know, I started putting together years ago. I'm still learning how to play them, you know,
right.
Because the song has these ideas. It takes a while to figure out or to work it out how to be able to do it, you know, and then eventually you're playing it, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I say if it's not a question for me, I'm like, I didn't study to play that song. The song taught me how to play it.
Yeah. The song, the music's your teacher.
Yeah.
The music itself.
Yeah.
And
that's what Hassan used to say. He used to say some people went to school for music, and some of us go to music for school. Yeah.
Or medicine.
Right. All of that.
Yeah. And what happens is I'll write, a song I'll write, and I'm like, what? Like, because I'm not feeling that feeling necessarily, but that feeling is all, that song is all about that feeling. And I'm like, I'm scratching my head because like, okay, whatever, that's what came. But then a couple years later, I'm somewhere and this is what it's for. You get it, So but you really have to have a kind of faith though, but it builds your faith. Yeah. Because you keep it keeps confirming for you that, you're not the boss. Just do it. And you'll figure it out later.
Right.
So it becomes, it's no longer a head process. If you're in the conservatory, of course, you're in all that, right? You got to have it, in these proportions, and you got to have these dynamics just like this, and, and it becomes a formula. But in the case of this, the formula is your receptivity. The metrics are different in the formula. It has more to do with the being and the ing of the thing, than it has to do with a presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting toward the final minutes of the program tonight, and if you would like to do a closing song, please feel free to. If you'd rather end the night with a conversation or questions, we can, as you wish.
Any questions or anything anyone wants to share? Anything? Anywhere?
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, David.
Long time.
Long time. Good to
20
see you.
years?
Yes.
20 years? 30 years?
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
I just got here, so I would love to hear a little bit of music, but it's up to your discretion.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's David Gilden. He's a longtime friend. I met him in my early days in New York City.
Oh,
Beautiful soul there. Chord player.
Lovely.
Chord player. Yeah.
Whoa, keep on with that.
I'm an F.
Oh, David, thank you for that medicine. Thank you for that
Good.
medicine.
I just quickly shout out to Spirit Ensemble, Jimmy Cruz, Hassan,
Yeah.
back in the day, Park Slope.
Yeah. Well, Ibaye Jimmy Cruz. Jimmy Cruz is
Yeah.
is not with us on this planet, on this
Okay.
plane, but he
His
is with us
spirit is still there,
His
though.
spirit is
Right
very,
now.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
And Dana is a very good friend of Jimmy's too. So
That's
Jimmy
good.
is with us very much. Yeah.
All right.
I
I'm gonna
brought
lurk. Nice
I
to
brought
meet
the
everybody.
bamboo. I brought the bamboo
Yeah.
to a session at Nick's Pub,
Oh.
and I'm there lined up, and this guy is like 2 ahead of me, and he turns around, he sees me with bamboo, and he says, "Where'd you come from?" Not many people bring a bamboo flute to Nick's Pub for a session.
Right.
So that was my first meeting with Jimmy Cruz.
Well, actually, I met Jimmy Cruz on West 3rd Street when I used to go out. When I first came to New York, I used to take a mouse amp and play in beer on West 3rd Street. I met Jimmy Cruz, but guess who else I met on West 3rd Street in that same time period? David. I met David on West 3rd Street. This was back in 1985. I was playing in beer with a little mouse amp. But I met Jimmy hanging on the street, and I met David hanging on the street. It was really, these are some
St. Mark's, East Village.
Yeah, but I was West 3rd. I was right out across the street from the Blue Note.
Oh yeah.
Right
That was
across
a
the
good
street from the Blue Note.
spot.
Yeah, that's where I met you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we talked for a while. We jammed at different times. This was way back in '85.
And Jimmy introduced me to you, Kevin.
Right. Yeah. So what a circle.
Anyone who's here who doesn't know, we're speaking of someone who was a phenomenal bamboo flute and percussion, shakere, just magic music man. And he knew so much about the Afro-Caribbean spiritual traditions, like all over the Caribbean. I mean, and his knowledge, I mean, he was like an encyclopedia, really. But he really wouldn't let it on, you know? But it would come out in bits and pieces, and it was just amazing. All the ceremonies of so many different people he could fulfill, and beautifully, you know. And he was a person, I saw him, that he cared for people who some people didn't care for. You know, he just was able to reach into so many different corners of humanity, little pockets of humanity everywhere. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for the time spent with him, and I really learned a lot with him and Madeline Yayodele Nelson, and I think of them two together, you know, and wow, yeah, I learned a little bit of shakere. I asked Jimmy if he would teach me. It's like, no, you got to learn from Madeline. And I know why he said that, because she, you know, she was all about the water with the gourd, and she made the gourds, and she chose the gourds. And, you know, I don't know if you knew that she was a swimming teacher.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did that a long while. And when she died at the river. She just dropped dead at the river, at the Hudson River. So, you know, and my focus has really been the water here. So, yeah, these are people very, very, very special to me, like you are. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you. It's been a very beautiful night. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight to Afro Roots Tuesdays. Especially thank you, Dana Gae, for opening the Wham Festival for God at Riverside. Everyone, if there's anything that you missed in the chat, pull it out. and make sure that you find out how to reach Dana for her future events, or join her mailing list or whatever, so that you can find out when and where she's playing at and joining her. And Dana, you bring people together for workshops at various times too, is that right?
Yes, I do. I haven't gotten around to doing a Zoom workshop yet, but I will. And my site, I know that I keep advertising my site on the videos, and it's not up, but it will be up shortly. So for now, please check the YouTubes. And it will be up shortly. I do promise you that.
Great. Well, I want to thank again everybody, and I want to thank Amanda Hopper with Guided Riverside. I want to thank Nellie Gomez with Guided Riverside. And again, yes, there's Nellie waving. And
Guided Riverside, thank you.
And everyone, please, come back. There's more of the WHAM series at Guided Riverside. There's going to be a great many amazing artists. It's Women's History Artists Month Festival. And please check that out, and follow Dana's work wherever you can. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Dana, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to see you. Good to see everyone.
Great to see you. And I'm trying to figure out how I can answer it. See, I'm trying to look at this chat, but once it's off, right?
Oh, we'll be able to send you the chat if we can. We can send it to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will just. There we go. Love you.
All right.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Amanda, are you there?
I am, yes.
You want to take it over?
I'll take it over. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining us. Check that chat one more time for information on how to find more Kevin, more Dana, and more WHAM Festival, all right? Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening.